Hello everyone, on Sports Wiz 101, and today I'll be giving you my predictions for week 2 of the NFL season. So I predicted all these games set to take place in week 2. We'll look to do a lot better than we did last week. We went 8-8. Very, very bad, very disappointing first week of the season. We'll hope to do a lot better. Let's shoot for 12-4 this week. And we will get started with the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. The Bills, of course, coming off of that amazing win this past Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens, trailing by 15. I believe there's 3.5 to go, and they come back and win the whole game. And they're taking on the Jets, who, of course, last week had a much higher scoring than anticipated game against the Steelers that they ultimately lost. Here, I do still believe the Bills are the better team, even if the Jets are probably better than I thought going into the preseason. So I do think the Jets could keep this competitive, but in the end, I do think Buffalo comes out on top. Moving on. Next up are the other two AFC East teams. We have the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. This taking place in Miami. And look, the Dolphins just looked terrible in their first game of the season, taking on the Indianapolis Colts. They lost 33-8 to Indy, of all teams. Now, New England didn't look like the best team in the world either, as they lost at home to the Raiders. But they're not in Miami territory where I feel like I can't really pick them after how bad Miami looked. New England at least looked decent enough where I could conceivably see them winning a football game. So yeah, I'll take New England to get the road win down in Miami. Jaguars-Bengals, this one an interesting matchup. A couple of 1-0 teams meeting in the jungle. A couple of cat teams as well. The Bengals found a way to win a week 1 game despite the fact that they did not get a lot of yards, especially in the second half. You can in part blame the Browns kicking situation for why Cincinnati was able to leave week 1 with a win. Jacksonville, though, has the delayed victory over the Carolina Panthers. Jacksonville pulling away in the second quarter and never really looking back after that. Ultimately, I'm going to take the Bengals because I still don't really trust that Jacksonville offense all that much. I do think that Cincinnati will be able to score in this game. Whereas Jacksonville, I just don't trust the Jags offense at this point. I'll take Cincinnati. Browns and Ravens, this is a divisional matchup between a couple of teams that probably feel like they should have won last week. Like I mentioned, the Browns, their kicking situation arguably cost them their game against the Bengals. Meanwhile, Baltimore, we already talked about how they were up by 15 late and yet allow that to slip away as they go home 0-1. I do feel like this will be an angry Ravens team that is a more focused Ravens team. So I do think Baltimore comes out of this with a victory. Broncos and Colts. I guess, like I mentioned, Daniel Jones had a great game last week against the Dolphins, but he gets a steep upgrade in the defense he's facing as the Denver Broncos come to town. And I think that Bronco defense is good enough that it should stymie the Colt offense. And that will be enough for Denver to come away with a road win. Next one's a Monday night game. In fact, it there's two Monday night games. This is the later of the two. It's the Chargers and the Raiders. Look, the Chargers, I, as a Chiefs fan, of course, watched that game on Friday night, and my main takeaway immediately after that was this is a different Chargers team than what we've been used to. This is a Chargers team that it will win games like Friday night, whereas years past they would always find some way to mess it up. Heck, you look at the early script of the game on Friday, and it was very similar to a Chiefs-Chargers game from last year, specifically the one in SoFi, where the Chargers were down double digits. Chiefs lose their top receiver due to a friendly fire incident. And the Chiefs still came back and won last season. That was not the case Friday night in Brazil. So that tells me this is a different Chargers team. This is a better Chargers team. And this is a Chargers team that I expect to go into Vegas and get the win. Next up is going to be my lock of the week. It's the Rams. I'm taking them to go to Nashville and beat the Titans. The Rams, of course, offensively were not in the best shape. They scored 14 points, though it was enough to get the win over the Houston Texans. They go to Nashville to take on a Titans team that, of course, did not look good as well offensively. But from what I saw of the Titans game, it was pretty much the receivers being unable to make the plays they needed. And I don't know if that's going to really change in time for a week 2 matchup with the Rams. I think Cam Ward will continue to have a difficult start to his career. And I think the Rams come out of Nashville with the win. Next one should be a good one. It's the Seahawks taking on the Steelers. I, for one, find that a very intriguing matchup. And one that I would have expected to headline the early slate of games in week 2. That being said, I'll take the Steelers. I think their pass rush will come alive here against the Seattle Seahawks. They'll make life difficult for Sam Darnold, and it'll allow Pittsburgh to leave week 2 at 2-0. And then we got the Super Bowl rematch as my Kansas City Chiefs have their home opener against the defending champs, the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, I was very disappointed in how the Chiefs defensively played on Friday night. Now, I wasn't as disappointed in the offense. I mean, like I mentioned, they lost the man who was probably going to be their number 1 receiver in that game. Yet, they were able to make some adjustments to the game plan. And as a result, they wound up scoring on each of their last 5 possessions in that Chargers game. Made you confident enough that if the Chiefs were to get the ball again, they probably would have scored, probably would have won the game. And they're taking on an Eagles team here that I thought watching the game Thursday night looked very beatable. However, that was with Jalen Carter not on the field after he was ejected. It does sound like Jalen Carter will play on Sunday in Kansas City. And with how bad the Chiefs' defense is, I don't think I can pick them to take down the defending champions. So this is going to be the rare instance where I pick against my team, and I hope that they prove me wrong. And I'm taking the Eagles to win the Super Bowl rematch. That takes us to Monday Night Football. It's the Buccaneers and the Texans. This is a matchup that I feel like could go either way. I do think Tampa Bay has a distinct advantage when it comes to their pass rush going against the Texan offensive line. However, I do also believe in CJ Stroud. He is my guy. He's been my guy pretty much ever since his draft class, where I thought he should have been the number 1 overall pick. I still believe in him. I still believe he is the best quarterback in the AFC South. And I do think he is at least comparable, if not better, than Baker Mayfield. So I think CJ Stroud will make the plays necessary for the Texans to get the win at home against Tampa. Should be a good one, should be a close one, but I think Houston comes away with the win. That takes us to Thursday Night Football. The Commanders and the Packers, both teams that are 1-0. And look, both of these teams looked very impressive, especially Green Bay, when it came to their matchup against the Lions. It's their defense, the Green Bay defense, made it so that Detroit couldn't really do anything. And that was a Detroit team that, it seemed, wanted to establish the rushing attack, or at least wanted to establish their running backs as big weapons. Now, the Commanders will probably have a more mobile quarterback than the Lions did. But in the end, I just don't think that is going to matter. I think Green Bay's defense is better than Washington's, and that will ultimately decide it. Give me the Packers to win at Lambeau. Giants and Cowboys going at it in Jerry World. Yeah, the Cowboys looked a lot better than I thought they were going to. That being said, how much of it was the fact that Jalen Carter was ejected is a fair question. That being said, even if the Cowboys are the team I thought they were going to be going this season, which, like I mentioned, I think they're a bit better than that. Even if they are as bad as I thought they were going to be, I still think they're good enough to handle the Giants. Give me Dallas. Then we have the 49ers and the Saints going at it in the Superdome. It is a 49ers team that I was initially very confident in their ability to win this game. And I still believe they are going to win. What gives me pause, though, is all the injuries they are getting. Most notably, George Kittle put on IR, and it's sounding like Brock Purdy won't play. That being said, I just have enough doubt in New Orleans, especially on the offensive side of the ball, to get much done. So yeah, I'm taking San Francisco despite the injuries. Then we have the Bears and the Lions. Look up that performance Monday night from Caleb Williams, especially after the first drive, just was not good. He played some bad football, and he certainly looked like he wasn't fixed. Like a lot of people thought he was going to be when Coach Johnson was brought in. So, really, I view this as kind of a get-right game for Detroit. As weird as it is to say about this Bears team that I thought in the preseason was going to make the playoffs. So really, I think Detroit wins this. Their offense gets back to where we think it should be. Caleb Williams will continue to struggle. I'll take Detroit. Panthers and Cardinals going at it in the desert. I like Arizona to win that game over Carolina. Carolina with Bryce Young just seems to tend to struggle in the first few weeks of the season. I expect those struggles to continue. And then we have the Sunday night game, which is kind of obscured by the advertisement it's trying to give me. It is the Falcons and the Vikings. I think this is a very interesting matchup between two young quarterbacks. There is one, though, that I'm much more confident in his ability to play, and that is Michael Penix. So I'll take Atlanta, with Penix getting a signature game-winning drive late for Atlanta. But there you go. There's my picks for Week 2 of the NFL season. If you like this, please like and subscribe for more to come on the Sports Quiz 101. and I will see you all later.